Oh, look who it is. The boy savior. Who's so stuck for Arcane Season 2 like I am. Let's texture Ekko today. You are watching a huge fan of Arcane right now. Hold on a sec. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, buckle some more. For those who hasn't seen my portfolio, I'm telling you that my whole portfolio consists of Arcane characters, and actually Arcane, that was what inspired me in 3D, and because of Arcane I have a job in 3D now. Okay, less drama, more work. So to tackle any project, it's best to break the texture up into manageable chunks so you don't get overwhelmed while texturing. I always break down my assets into individual folders: the skin, the eyes, the shirt, the hair, etc. This way you will not paint over the unnecessary parts. You will not paint over the shirt while drawing the skin. You will not mess up your skin while texturing the hair. Just create a folder to mask out the area you want to paint by applying a black mask to the folder that is going to contain the texture layers. You can control exactly where you want the texture to appear. At first, I'm starting to define where my shadows are going to be and where the light is coming from. Here, I would think about the direct lightning. So I'm drawing shadows below the nose, the lip, to show that the light is coming from the top. So all of the surfaces on the face that are pointing up, I would consider in light, while everything else I'm leaving in shadow. Ekko has pronounced cheekbones, wide nose, big lips. I'm defining them with a saturated brown color underneath to bring up more volume to the texture. He also has a slight swelling near his mouth, like it's pretty meaty here around the corners, to emphasize that I'm using more light color around the corners of the mouth, because this surface here, it looks up and it means the light that is coming from above. You know about that meme that's going on the internet when the artists from Arcane were asked the question, how do you make these textures look like painting? And the answer was, we paint. So here I'm painting a light line around his upper lip that's called a white roll. A white roll defines where your lips really end, not the vermilion border. The vermilion border is not actually the end of your lips. Women understand me perfectly right now. They know what I'm talking about because in makeup, we always put on our lipstick on the white roll to make our lips look bigger. Splashes of slightly different colors will really make your textures pop, so try to implement this as much as you can. That's why I'm adding a dark red in his lips right now. The style of the shapes in Arcane is quite graphic, so I like to use a more hard brush to determine where my shadow shape is. In the show they also have lines in renders, but the lines are not around the character's silhouette, they are inside the form, often defining major plane changes or anatomy. Ekko also has such lines, for example on his cheekbones, around his nose, on the lips. The line defines the contour of it and brings more artistic look to the texture. I'm trying to add more color variations into his white paint on his nose. And I'm also adding some expression to his face by drawing a bit of a frowned eyebrows look. Don't forget to draw this little piece of meat in the eyes that is called lacrimal meat. For the Arcane art style, you need to define the iris at the end with a darker line and the pupil. And don't forget about the 3 significant highlights in the eyes that are very common for the Arcane style. When drawing the hair, you need to think about the hair as these big grouped chunks that have their own light and shadow. You can use pretty large and rough shapes while drawing the hair. There's no need to try to draw thin separate hairs because right now we are using a pretty stylized look. see how I immediately tried to add additional color into his shirts in the very beginning? I'm adding more reddish color to the shadow to make that splash of color so our texture doesn't look boring, and it will help me later to build up nice and complex texture. Now I will start to pick the colors from here and there in the shirt, and I will mix them with hard strokes of the brush. I will not blend them together because I want to see the clear boundaries between the different colors. And I will also add those lines on the shirt that I already told you about earlier. That is what defines the Arcane texture style. The lines are the renders that mimic some folds on the shirt or some anatomic features if they are on the face. So as the belt presses on the shirt, I draw some folds around the belt to show the tension that the belt creates around itself. But since this tension is considered a context shadow, I choose a more saturated green for this. To add variety to the texture on the scarf, I add orange to the highlights. When I use the eyedropper to copy colors from the scarf, it will give me a wide range of additional colors. Saturated colors are always suitable for contact shadows, and also remember that contact shadows are never just straight lines. They should vary in shape along the entire length. I also tried to add more volume to the folds on the scarf by adding a saturated dark color at the very base of the fold. This way I get a contrasting joint. You can clearly see where the fold itself begins. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please join our community in Discord. The link is in the description below. There you can share your works and get feedback on them. See you next time. Bye.